Hey everybody, welcome on back. So, today we're going to be checking out the IGN coverage of the weapon change and string skills that they got access to. Maybe we're going to get to see the smithing animation. Or not.
In a recent behind closed doors demo, we played a section of Monster Hunter Wilds and asked the developers about changes made to weapons and other systems. The biggest thing being the separation of equipment skills between weapons and armor. Stay tuned for more details.
That's going to be interesting and what gives more hope for more of my defensive style builds I typically go for when playing this game. Because I build more for tanking than anything, just because that's how I roll a lot of the time. Because in most games, if I can tank, I'm a tank. That's just what I enjoy. I am not a DPS person. Anywho, I have no idea how the skills are going to work in this game. I don't know if they're going to stack as high. And if they do stack as high, it's going to be interesting because I believe offensive skills are going to be on weapons and defensive skills / utility skills will be on armor. Yep. What about guard? A lot of weapons can't use guard. I wonder if guard, because guard is a defensive thing, but it is specific for weapons that can block, like gun lance here. But heavy bowgun can block too. I don't know. I guess we'll see.
As I played the demo, I realized major changes have been made to the skill system, where damage increasing skills and weapon specific skills like attack up and focus can only be found on or applied to the weapons themselves.
Oh, there you go.
Change.
I guess that answers my question. Focus is specific for weapons that do charge up. So I'm guessing guard is going to be the exact same because it's only going to be exclusive to weapons that can block.
This is the new equipment skill system.
I like the tree.
In interviews, the development team...
Oh, wait. Some of these weapons look sick. I'm no greatsword player, but some of these look great.
...themselves. A pretty impactful change. This is
there was
the
a bone one like that.
Equipment...
I think we've seen something similar to this with some of the Jaggies. But this one looks good. The fire element... Oh, I wonder if that's the fire monkey. I was gonna call him a baboon, but he wasn't really a baboon. The pink guy is a baboon. This one's more monkeyish. I wonder if this is his greatsword or its greatsword. Next, this is a paralyzed. We're gonna see a paralyzed guy. Who do we know that paralyzes that we've seen so far? Only La Ballerina. And that one's white and red. I'm assuming this one looks like it would be from the wellspring, the oil place.
In interviews, the development team referred to skills for your weapons
basic
casually as
bone.
weapon skills.
Oh, SNS. I was expecting SNS.
The development team referred to skills for your weapons casually as weapon skills.
Alright, frame by frame. Frame by frame. Frame by frame. This is another fire, so this is probably the same guy we saw before, but it's a lot brightly colored this time. So maybe this one's, it's not actually the fire monkey. The fire monkey is darker, right? Pretty sure it's darker. This looks like it's Chatacabra's, 100%.
Running with that unofficial terminology, let's call equipment skills for weapons, weapon skills, and equipment skills for armor, armor skills.
Those are good
this
too.
means that equipment skills in
Alright, hold on, back up a bit. That was too busy
major
pausing.
changes have been made to the skill system, where damage increasing skills and weapon specific skills like attack up and focus can only be found on or applied to the weapons themselves. A pretty impactful change. This is the new equipment skill system.
Honestly, the more you think about it, the more I like that, because then you can actually utilize skills that typically you wouldn't use just so you can squeeze in an extra attack up or something, right? Because if all the offensive is going to be on your weapons, that opens up your armor for among other skills that you would not normally use. So you can actually experiment a bit more, diversifying your build even more than what it used to be. Before it was critical boost, weakness. Well, I don't know if weakness is going to be in this one. It'll probably be in this one, attacking weak spots. Weakness, attack up. If you can squeeze it in, critical eye is more important for that. What else? Honestly, those are like the main ones you would typically go for to get your affinity up as high as you can go, and then squeeze in any extra attack you can get anywhere else. Do anything to get your affinity to 100, and then you start bumping up your attack in any other way you can with peak performance, offensive guard, which I love and will probably be using in this one a lot more.
In interviews,
I actually
the
like it.
development team referred to skills for your weapons casually as weapon skills. Running with that unofficial terminology, let's call equipment skills for weapons, weapon skills, and equipment skills for armor, armor skills. This means that equipment skills in Wilds are split up into these two categories. Weapon skills generally include skills that affect actions and damage output, while armor skills assist in other ways. Armor skills include support skills like Speed Eating and Divine Blessing. This new system also affects slots, and the devs confirmed that weapons can only use decorations with skills categorized as weapon skills, while armor can only use decorations with skills categorized as armor skills.
I wonder later down the line when they start introducing more, because if we get DLC, we may get one or two, or probably just get one. That's kind of typical on what they usually do. Like Iceborne, Sunbreak. You get one big one, and then that's it. That's it. Anyways, I wonder if we're going to get some hybrid skills later down the line where you can put it on your weapon and your armor. I can see that. I wonder if we're also going to get hybrid skills via like two in one, right? So you have one gem that has, say, 3 guard in it, and then you get another one that has 2 guard and defense 1, right? Or defense 3 and speed eating. Hybrid skills like that. That would be interesting. And the more I think about that, and they do deco farms like that, and they randomize it like that, it's gonna make deco farming even more grindy. Oh my god! Because then you have the RNG factor in to get the deco you want with the hybrid skill you want with the levels you want, right? Good lord. That baboon can sleep through a lot.
This really opens up a lot of new ideas. I asked director Yuya Tokuda about his intentions here, and he replied, only armor had built-in equipment skills until now, but when a piece of armor had a type of skill only effective when used with a certain weapon type, that meant you would have to choose the corresponding weapon.
True.
This led to an unavoidable situation where it was harder for people to use those kinds of armor pieces. The new system solves that issue.
Agreed.
Monster Hunter Wilds now lets you take 2 weapons with you on a hunt, which must have been another reason behind the change. Since you can now swap to a sub-weapon mid-hunt, it's great to be able to keep on hunting while maintaining the skills you need to increase your damage to a suitable level or handle your weapon better. There is one thing I'm still curious about.
It's cool if you think about it, because then you can bring 2 builds into the hunt that you want just by using your weapons, right? Because your offense is your weapon now. You can have a good setup on 2 weapons that not benefit, that whatchamacallit, what's the word I'm looking for? Plays well with your armor setup. Like if you're going a support build, you can have a support light bowgun and a support SNS, or an SNS support with a hunting horse support, right?
While I was able to confirm that skills like guard are indeed on weapons that can block, I'm not sure which type of equipment utilizes skills like evade and evade distance yet.
I would say that's more of just dodging, and every weapon can use that, so I'm going to go out of a limb and say armor. It is an armor skill. It's not exclusive like guard or blocking, I should say. Granted, the weapon he is using currently, the dual blades, would benefit quite a bit from evasion, but if they lock evasion behind dual blades, light bow gun, bow would probably benefit a lot from it because you get stamina back when you dodge through attacks now. So evade would probably be a good one to go for on dual blades and bow, simply because if you dodge an attack with dual blades and your demon mode active, you will then get a special stance, which they are currently in, that you will attack while you dodge.
Next up is weapon balancing.
Ooh.
Producer Ryozo Tsujimoto confirmed there will be significant weapon balance changes in Wilds. He told me there will be major changes not just after what we saw in the open beta, but also in the form of changes we had always intended to add to the final product.
The main thing I can see here is the insect glaive. There's so much outrage for the insect glaive taking away its air game. People loved that in the weapon, and honestly, it was kind of iconic for the weapon. Its air game was strong. In World, it was like the only weapon that you can do that was an air ballerina, right? And then Rise came along, and every weapon got air game. And now in this, no weapon had any flashy air time, really.
Tokuda added, in particular, we plan on putting quite a lot of work into the lance, switch axe, insect glaive, and sword and shield based on
SNS. I didn't hear any. SNS is probably not going to change all that much because I didn't hear very much complaints about the SNS. Yeah, it wasn't as showy and flashy as every other weapon, but its versatility got turned up a bit. Not having any dedicated attacks, it was more fluid. Like how they changed the dual blades in its blade dance, which felt nice. Being able to switch your position in any situation with the SNS was huge. So now I'm even more excited to see what they do with the weapon, because I'm assuming they're going to keep the sidestepping from the attacks so you can reposition a lot better while simultaneously attacking as well. This is huge. I'm excited. Aim for the lance too. I enjoyed the lance.
He continued, we've tweaked values across the board relating to weapon damage and overall balance, including balance regarding endgame content. In addition to these numerical changes, the four aforementioned weapon types have, quote, plenty of work put into how they feel to use. While the development side is certainly listening to the voices of the players, they're already taking a proactive stance toward weapon balance changes, and it seems that a proper announcement about the topic will come at a later date.
Okay,
Seeing their attitude put me at ease. The game is clearly in good hands. We'll see how their intentions pan out when the final game is released in February 2025. Next, the team told me about the direction and concept of the switch axe and insect glaive.
Those are the two that they've worked on the most, is what that tells me. Insect glaive and switch axe got the most love.
The insect glaive was one of my main weapons, and my very first impression was
probably
that there
needed.
were fewer aerial attacks available.
That's exactly what I was just talking about. People loved the air game that the insect glaive brought.
It made me wonder if the concept was to reduce the relative number of aerial attacks and make it a primarily grounded weapon. I brought this up with Tokuda, and he began by revealing to me that vaulting dance is making a return. This is one of the actions that was so important to opening up possibilities for aerial combat with an insect glaive. As to why it wasn't there before, he said, we were concerned that putting it in this time around would cause players to use nothing but existing movements, rather than focus on the new parts of the game. That's why we decided to remove vaulting dance for a time.
Oh, so they always intended to bring it back.
As for the reason it was brought back, he
That's
replied,
cool.
Many players at Gamescom and Tokyo Game Show told us that it's not about how strong or weak it is, but that vaulting dance is part of the insect glave's very identity. We realized that we weren't on the same page as our players there, and so we immediately decided to bring vaulting dance back while balancing the ability.
Also, I didn't necessarily intend to bring it back all along. Okay. That's what changed their mind.
I was happy to hear about this balance decision as an insect glaive user. That said, I did have difficulty during the open beta with controls for its new charge attack, and I'm hoping that they'll make this easier to use as well.
Switch Axe.
I then asked about what direction they want to take the Switch Axe in. Tokuda told me the concept of the Switch Axe had not fully gotten across to players yet, and that the dev team is balancing it in order to convey what makes it a good weapon. Specifically, he said, the full release slash that comes at the very end of an attack didn't fully stand out, both in terms of feel and numbers, making it less attractive when compared with similarly positioned attacks for other weapons. We'll be sure to address that.
People like those big numbers.
Hearing about Capcom's plans to balance the Switch Axe to make it a more attractive weapon, and the process that brought them to this decision included, I realized that they're also properly discussing the Switch Axe, and that it will eventually be balanced. I don't think that should be a point of concern any longer. I'm sorry to admit that I can't go into as much depth on the Switch Axe as with the Insect Glaive, as it isn't one of my main weapons, but other media outlets were also present at this hands-on session, and I'm sure some of them include players who go hard on the lance, the gun lance, the bow, the longsword, and more, so keep an eye out online for more information on your
I gotta
favorite
hunt
weapon.
down some lance stuff. Maybe some SNS changes.
For everything monsters and hunting and wild, keep it right here on IGN.
Alright, that's pretty much the video. Watch the... I guess that's it. Alright. I'm keen to see what they do with the SNS. I'm glad they're bringing back the air game for Insect Glaive. It needed it. That was like one of the core things about the weapon, was vaulting around and flying around pretty much. That's good. And maybe they should add a whatchamacallit, a dodging feature while in air. Like if you dash at the right time in air and you dodge an attack, you get stamina back so you can stay in the air longer, like the bow does, right? That'd be nice. I don't know. I'm not a huge Insect Glaive player. I just know a lot of people were unhappy about it. And I'm glad they're bringing back the air dance. It's a good thing. I do like the skill changes that they are showing off over here. Granted, I didn't really see anything. Those dual blades are cool. It's a paralyze. I like the direction that they're going with the skills. I do. Some people may not like it, just like if they can't build up as much damaging skills in a weapon as they would like. That's gonna suck. Yeah. But for me, it's fine. It definitely opens up the door for a lot more possibility in builds that people typically would not run. Especially if their priority was always damage. Because then again, that's kind of what the game boils down to in endgame in most of the games, is how fast can you take down the monster? And that's fun. I can 100% agree with that. I did that kind of with more of my comfy / tank setups. Because I would try to optimize it as much as I can so I can face tank and still do relatively good damage. So I like it. I like it. Either way, everybody, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I will again have the link for this video if you do not want to hear me talk or pause. If you have not seen it yet, you can check it out there. Take care, be well, stay safe, and have a wonderful rest of your day, everybody.